Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you all, hopefully you are all had a good Friday, or a good Friday afternoon, morning. We're getting right into the weekend. Um, Again, I wanted to mention my friend Ellen's album release, which is Sunday. Um, I'm wishing her luck. Her, unfortunately, I won't be able to go, but I'm wishing her luck. Her backup band, um, and of course the opener, for her. I mean, one of my so technically I'm in a band with Ellen, but I'm also in a band with the guy who's opening up for her. So it's really crazy to sound, that these two, I will say these two musicians have worked extremely hard to where they are today and just continue nonstop. I mean, Ellen's been a huge support with being in different bands, and now she has her very own show where everybody is pitching in, helping her as much as possible. Um, but Ellen is an incredible musician. Um, I would not at all. I would not at all give Ellen. So one of the things with Ellen is she's not a musician to disappoint. She's incredibly talented. She is very gravitated towards what she does. She's very precise. Um, and her music she puts well together, meaning she know what she wants to create. But I'm wishing her. I did send her off. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to give her my gift, but somebody will be bringing it to the show on Sunday. Um, but Ellen deserves it, and she deserves the hard work in, doing a lot of things with my band. And of course, bands she's been in on Thursdays and Mondays as well. Being a part of a lot of other people's album releases, projects. But Ellen is a unbelievable musician. So is Ian. Ian is in my band. Him and I are in two bands um, that we go back and forth with on Wednesdays. Um, and he also has another band at his other program he goes to. So Ian is also quite busy in the music industry as well, being a musician, a professional musician. Um, but I thought tonight we would kind of do something similar. Um, but what I wanted to do is do some Loricana stuff. I'm going to talk more about deck building, but I'm going to actually talk about one of my very first starter decks I purchased when I got into the card game. It's a starter deck from Shimmering Skies, and I'm pretty sure that there's two decks for that. One of them I believe is the Wreck It Ralph, and I'm gonna have to look again. But my first deck was the Emerald and Steel deck, which features Scar and Kronk from Kronk's New Groove. Of course, so I know for the one of the expansions, because Loricana also releases expansions, so these are things separate from the card game, even though you can play with multiple. They're basically extended, themed, quest related bundles that you can get for the game. One of them was about Jafar, but for this like expansion they released two starter decks. One of them is a steel and ruby deck, and the other one, which that one I will say it's definitely, I mean, rubies are really good. I mean, one of the so ruby and steel would be a really well put together deck. Not only that, but you would be able to clear literally everything, because that's the thing, is steel decks are really good for making big impactful moves on your opponent when you challenge, or when you challenge them. And on top of that, having a ruby with that steel deck makes that deck so amped with power. But right now I am trying to memorize, but the Shimmering Skies deck we got, this is my very first deck we obtain. But I will say, anybody who is getting into the game for the first time, definitely I will highly recommend that the starter deck you would want to get that features these colors. I would definitely start with, a lot of people like to choose the deck between characters they like, which is fine. I would say, just I will say, before you buy a deck, make sure you learn how to play that deck, because it's everything, because people love the characters, but when you play the game, you know the game changes with the cards, with action cards, sing along cards, the character cards. Things can really get going in a game, or they can happen later on in the game. So it's best to really do your research in these starter decks. But again, I'm going to show you one I have practiced with. I actually used this one with my first actual game of Loricana, with one of the old staff I used to work with at Listen Up. But I'm going to show you guys my very first deck, some of the cards within that deck. I'm going to bring the game board out so we can use that as reference. You will get a paper playmat in a starter deck, but if you get the gateway, you actually get the board for it. I mean, the paper's good, but the paper's pretty bad on soft surfaces, so I would encourage anybody that wants to get a real playmat or board, get the gateway to learn how to play, because you get this one, so it is not ripped. It is and I'm actually going to slide this. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna lay everything on top there. And I have a starter deck also I bought today. I almost bought that. What is it? The deck that came with the Jafar expansion, but yeah. I will say the decks were $16 each, but a couple of them were cheaper. With the deck I purchased was $16.77, whereas the Jafar deck was gonna cost me exactly $17. So I feel like I chose wisely. Alright, so let's get going on the deck I am gonna show you. And as I said, towards the end, I'll show you all the. But here it is. So oh wait, no, this is not it. This is it right here. All right. So, the two promo cards you're going to get. This is from Shimmering Skies. This is the Emerald and Steel deck. So, your two promo cards you will get in this starter deck guaranteed is this Scar card, and then but what we're going to do is we're going to go through these one at a time. Now, the Emerald side of this deck involves Scar, and many I would say Scar and the Hyenas. Ed, I can't remember the other two. But Scar, we'll start with the main one of the main characters of this deck. So this is the Scar Vengeful Lion. So this actually would be so this Scar is going to be a really good card, but remember that Emerald. So Emerald decks are typically are used for disruption, discarding, and warding. So this is really cool that the Scar comes with ward. Now ward is an ability where so opponents can't choose this character except the challenge. So yeah, opponents can't choose this character except the challenge. So this Scar card. So I'm pretty sure ward means that they won't be able to target Scar unless they can only so opponents can't choose this character except to challenge. So they can challenge this Scar and not do anything else. Meaning that they won't be able to target Scar. They can only accept a challenge Scar. I think that's what the term. Actually, let me look. Some of these terms are Because ward, I'm pretty sure that's what that means, is the opponent won't be able to challenge that character. Or not challenge, won't. It has to do with. But I'm going to have to redo some lore. Ward. Ward. Yeah. So ward is a keyword that protects a character from being chosen or targeted by an opponent's cards, effects, action items, or abilities. I see. So, yeah, so basically an opponent can still choose a warded character, so meaning that they can choose to attack Scar. Um but they can't use direct targeting spells on Scar. It says targeted actions, spells like Dragonfire that say banish chosen character. So a character that has ward on it would not at all be infected or would be able to be banished. Opponent abilities that require choosing a specific character to deal damage boost or so ability targeting opponent abilities that require choosing a specific character to deal damage, boost, lower stats, or return it to a hand will fail. They won't be able to go through that process. So ward's a really good skill, but it disrupts an opponent's ability to they can, as I said, they can still attack, they just can't use spells to banish your character or anything. So Emerald's really good for disruption. But Scar comes with that. Um, Unfortunately, I mean, I will say he also has this. Whenever one of your characters challenges a damaged character, you may draw a card. So I'm guessing if you decide to challenge, um, so if when one of your characters, so meaning if say if we don't use Scar or we do use Scar, we can challenge um so whenever one of your characters challenges a damaged character. So if we have multiple characters on the board and one of them challenges a damaged characters, but each round though, that's the thing is this is it's called life's not fair, is it? So really if you have a damaged character each round or your opponent has a damaged character from a previous attack, you may draw a card and you'll gain one lore obviously. But I will say the health is really it is a bit terrible. I will say this Scar card would be really good to play later on. even though he would be still a character you would need 4 ink for to play him. He would be good for like middle game, because his attack damage is at 4, which is pretty good. Next up we have a ability called Emerald Coil. Shimmering Wings. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, chosen character gains. Alright, chosen character gains invasive until the start of your next turn. Only characters with invasive can challenge them. Chosen character gains invasive until your next turn. I get it. So during your turn, whenever a card is put in your inkwell, your the chosen character your chosen character gains invasive until the start of your next turn. Only characters with invasive can challenge them, meaning that invasive's one of those skills with characters is that the only way you can challenge an evasive character is if that opponent has a character that also has invasive, or if your opponent has invasive, you you won't be able to challenge your opponent's character if you don't have invasive on your character. So so basically if you have a character that doesn't have invasive, you can't challenge. You can quest, but you won't be able to challenge. Um but this is a really good card. It's an uncommon card. It does not have an ink cost. Hey, buddy. What are we doing? What are we doing? Next up, we have Ulf. He's a mime. Here we so he would cost 4 ink. He has an ability called Silent Performance. This character can't extract to sing songs. Okay, so I'm guessing this means that you don't have to extract him, turn him sideways to sing a song. So you keep him up instead of, cuz that's the thing is exerted means that when you turn a card like this that's in play, that card is currently in use. This is your ready position. So what it's saying is this character doesn't have to exert to sing a song, because songs are action cards in the game. They're gonna really help you out. And he also gains 2 lore, so really good card. But there's Ulf the Mime. We have Shenzi, the hyena. Now, Shenzi is the female hyena in The Lion King. She's got two abilities. She's got stick around for dinner. This character gets +1 strength for each other hyena character you have in play. But stick around for dinner. It says this character gets +1 strength for each other hyena character you have in play. So if you had the other two hyenas in play, or all of them for that matter, um, she would be getting 1 strength. Or if we just or if we really wanted to, we had like 3 Shenzis out there. We could even add, meaning that, actually, wait. Oh, this is a different Shenzi card. This is Scar's Accomplice. Scar's Accomplice, Shenzi Head Hyena. So yeah, she's the pack leader. I will say this deck has a lot of good cards. Um, but Shenzi here is, so as I said, if you have Ed and the other hyenas, or you had these other two Shenzis out for play, um, she would get +1 for each hyena you have in play. So she could get up to, let's see, you could have like the two Shenzis and the, so that would bring her up to 7 strength. So she would be a powerhouse. And then she also has another ability called What Have We Got Here? Whenever one of your hyena characters challenges a damaged character, so a character that's been hit or hurt into a challenge, gain 2 lore. So right off the bat, if whenever one of our hyenas challenges a wounded character, we can gain 2 lore. So that's really good. Here is Shenzi. This is a different card, though. This is Scar's Accomplice. Now, Invasive. Only characters with Invasive can challenge this character. Again, a really good ability. Um, Easy pickings. While challenging a damaged character, this character gets +2. So, +2, that would bring her up to 4. So the hyenas would really be ideal. Little John. So Little John doesn't. I mean, he would be good for getting lore, but. And he costs 1 ink. So not a really good. I would say he would be good to get like 1 lore. And actually, you might even be able. Actually, he would be a good one to build up maybe in late game. Um, but again, yeah. Next up, we've got Ed, the historical party goer. Rowdy guest. Damaged characters can't challenge this character. So, if opponents have characters that have been hit or have been challenged, won't be able to challenge Ed. I mean, this is cool too because we can quest for 3 lore as well. Um, Next up, we have an action called Hypnotic Deduction. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on the top of your deck in any order. So this is really cool. So actually, it's telling us to draw 3 cards. And then we can put 2 cards from our hand, and they don't have to be the ones that you drew, but it says 2 cards from your hand on the top of your deck in any order you like. We have Night Howler Rage. Draw a card. Chosen character gains Reckless during their next turn. They can't quest and must challenge if able. So Reckless is a ability where your opponent draw a card. Okay, so we would draw a card. Chosen character gains Reckless during their next turn. They can't quest and must challenge if able. So you're forced into challenging, to fighting. All right. We have Ulf again, same card. We've got Robin Hood, the timely contestant. Tag me in. So Robin Hood here, he's a cost of 9. Tag me in. For each 1 damage on opposing characters, you pay 1 ink less to play this character. Night Howler Range. We have Robin Hood, archery contestant. Trick shot. When you play this character, if an opponent has a damaged character in play, gain 1 lore. Next up we have Bonzi. The taunting hyena. All right, so our let's see. I think we did skip. Yep, we have Ed next. So Ed has we did so Ed has an ability called Cause a Panic. When you play this character, you can deal 2 damage to a chosen damage character from your opponent. Zazu, the bird. So Zazu has invasive. Um, he would be good and he can quest for 2 lore. Next up, we've got Robin Hood. Now, Robin Hood, this is sneaky sleuth Robin Hood, but it says shift 3. Now, shift 3 means we can pay 3 ink to play this on top of one of our characters named Robin Hood. It says this character gets plus 1 lore for each opposing damage character in play. Merryweather, Good Fairy, Ray of Hope. When you play this character, you may pay 1 ink to give chosen character plus 2 attack this turn. All right, so that's it for our emerald. Um, Next up, we've got our steel side of this deck, which our other promo card is Kronk, Head of Security, Floodborn. Actually, no, this user it says shift 5. You may pay 5 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Kronk. Are you on the list? During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may play a character with cost 5 or less for free. So this is a really good skill. So it says during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge. So meaning if you use this card and he destroys one of your opponent's characters, you can play a character with the cost so with cost 5 or less for free, meaning that you don't have to use ink to play it for free, but it has to cost 5 or less, that from what it's saying here. Exert 1 ink. Okay, so this is cool. All right, so our next one is an action. It's called Food Fight. So your character gains exert one. So meaning that we only have to spend one ink, deal one damage to chosen character this turn. Duck for cover. Um, chosen character gains resist +1 and invasive this turn. Damage dealt to them is reduced by 1. They can challenge characters with invasive. Next up, we've got Arthur. We've got Kronk, the unlicensed investigator. Challenger +1. While challenging, this character gets +1 strength. We've got the Royal Guard, Bovine Protector. Simba. So this is fully grown Simba. Lost Prince. Face the past. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you can draw a card. So whenever Simba banishes a character, meaning kills a character, we can draw a card for each if we still have, if we have Simba in play. We've got Rudy, Grooves, Disruptor. Simba. We've got Hey Hey, the rooster from Moana. Bodyguard. This character may enter play exerted. An opposing character who challenges one of your characters must choose one with bodyguard if able. Oh, I see it. I see. So this character can be played exerted, meaning it can be played sideways. An opposing character who challenges one of your characters must only choose one with with bodyguard if able. So they can shot if we had any character that has bodyguard, those are the only characters they would be able. If you have a character that has in the black letters bodyguard, they'd be able to challenge bodyguard. But if it doesn't say bodyguard, they won't be able to challenge that character. It's really awesome. Next up, we've got an action song. When will my life begin? So actions help you, or action songs actually help you. Basically, if you have a character with the cost of 3 or more, can sing this song for free. With chosen character can't challenge during their next turn, draw a card. Another Kronk. We got Pete, game referee. When you play this character, opponents can't play actions until the start of your next turn. Okay, so this one actually is like more of like a halt, stop, and so this would be a really good one. Not so much just in main game or in like in the like last phase of the game, but we've got two of these Pete cards. But it actually basically means that when we play this Pete card, only 3 ink. Opponents won't be able to perform any actions, including, I'm guessing, cards that significant. So yeah, they won't be able to challenge or quest for lore until the start of our next turn. So literally, after playing this card, your you would have to um your opponent's you um yeah, so they would have to wait. They'd go through their turn after playing Pete. So I would be playing Pete, and then when it's the opponent's turn, they won't be able to do anything. So you're disrupting, or not so much disrupting, but you won't be able to get any like hit, or and your opponent won't be able to quest for lore until this um meaning they can't play actions. I'm guessing that also includes action cards and stuff like that. Or so yeah, it's like a disrupting attack. We have Simba, the son of Mufasa. Shift 4. You may pay 4. You may pay a cost of 4 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Simba. Fearsome Roar. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item or location. Sleepy, the sluggish knight. Bodyguard. This character may enter play exerted. An opposing character who challenges one of your characters must choose one bodyguard. If so, just like the Hey Hey card we looked at, our Sleepy also has bodyguard, the ability bodyguard. So again, you can put him exerted, but an opposing character who wants to challenge one of our characters they'll have to only choose to challenge if we have a character that has bodyguard, the ability bodyguard. So we've got Yzma. I'm warning you. During your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes a character in a challenge, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. Definitely still good. And then our last card is the Tug of War. Choose one. So we can only choose one. Deal 1 damage to each opposing character without invasive. Or, so this is a card that actually can give you a choice. So you can only choose one each. If you had multiple of these, so option 1 is dealing 1 damage to each opposing character without invasive. So if your opponent has multiple characters on the field, you could deal damage to them by 1, and it doesn't say invasive. Or option number 2 is you can deal 3 damage to each opposing character with invasive, meaning if they have invasive, if those characters you have that your opponent has have invasive, you can deal 3 damage to each of them. So this actually could be a really good card if used correctly. If used, but I will say this deck could be very strong, and especially since the steel part of it is going to really come in handy. But I thought what we would do is open up that starter deck I got today. Because that is all that has a half and half emerald deck is, or at least emerald aspect. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna whoopsie. Whoopsies. So Kronk is gonna go there. Emerald Coil, and then Scar. But Little John, I'm actually kind of, I'm thinking you could possibly boost him up, like if, because he's literally only at 1 ink, so he'd be one of the very first characters you could, or at least, and you wanted to like really beef him up, possibly. All right, cool. Cool, cool, cool. I do like this deck. I think Emerald and Steel decks go well together. You've got Disruption and I will say really heavy defense and almost heavy attack or heavy damage and heavy damage bodyguard based attacks and disruptional attacks. But but there is our deck right there. Well, let's check out the deck I did purchase today. But this is, so I did recommend to Ian, Ian's one of my bandmate that has performed. That is going to be Ellen's opening act. I gave him some ideas of some possible decks he could use. This would be a good one for Ian. It is a good deck to it's going to be really probably more. it's gonna have, I feel like, a lot of widespread to it, and a lot of really good cards that are cheap you can use in the beginning of the game throughout the whole game. Like this would be a really good deck. I gave him kind of a better recommendation though. I gave him a deck from the first chapter, which includes Simba and oh shoot, I'm trying to remember, but it was Simba and Cinderella was the other, but it combined it, that deck I know was a Amber and I'm gonna have to look again. Thor's in here. He's just chilling though. Lorcana starter deck, starter set, or starter deck. First chapter. So yep, the one I'm talking about. So they also have the DOS or yeah, that's Cruella, right? Yep. But yeah, the one I'm talking about is the Sapphire and Steel deck. So that involves Cinderella and Simba. And the first chapter. So there's two. The other one is with Sorcerer Mickey and Moana. Which that deck is a Amethyst and Amber deck. So any of those two would be good, but I've heard really better, more like game, like through gameplay, the Sapphire and Steel deck between the two was the one. But I think if Ian's able to, like, because I want to send him this picture of this deck as well, which is the other deck, but I think to be, I feel like some of the, like, I mean, as I said, it depends on your play style, what you're trying to get into. And then there's three decks in this. So the Cruella de Vil was the other one, and that is a Ruby and Emerald deck. So any of those three, I think, would be really good for Ian. Um, so Amber and Amethyst. Okay, so they say, so it says here, they say that the Amber and Amethyst starter deck from the first chapter. So that's the one with, yep, Sorcerer Mickey and Moana. They said that's like widely considered the easiest and most straightforward starter deck to play for beginners. But yeah, they're saying for a beginner, the best Disney Lore Arcana starter deck is, as I said, Amber or the Rise of the Floodborn, which is the Amethyst and Steel deck. All right, so so this is the deck I chose today. This would be a really this is one of the good ones to use. It's got a lot of characters that you'll be able to use in the they say that this is one of the decks that's pretty easy, straightforward to learn, but it's the Into the Inklands. This features Peter Pan and 101 Dalmatians. It is, as I said, an amber and emerald deck. Now, to note, each starter deck comes with a booster pack, so you actually get bonus cards in these starter decks. Um, Obviously of the set. Um, this was a deck they had this one, and I chose this one because like they also had the starter deck, the Mulan and Stitch one from the Jafar's expansion, but it just honestly I want to get familiar with the game because a lot of those cards in there were like once you kind of like get into the game, not so much get in, but like really are involved, that'd be maybe a deck I would get then. But let's go ahead and I will say, so the two promo cards in this are Pongo and Peter Pan. Now I'm gonna read each of what they can do in the game. So Peter Pan is so he would be really good. Again, it he has an ability called I come to listen to the stories, but it says once per turn, once 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 per turn, when this character moves to a location, which there are location cards, and location cards can be they will have a cost, but they're not like a character card. They do not have like an attack or they but this is an ability where when we move Peter Pan to a location, he will be able to gain lore equal to that location. Um, but that's really important. Next up, we've got Pongo. Now Pongo, I will say his ability, I feel is better than Peter Pan's, especially if Pongo is unfortunate. I feel like he'd be one you would want to be careful with without getting banished. But his ability, I would say keep him. I would say maybe even like if you have a character that can be a bodyguard or can absorb damage from a this actually helps. This is a deck that helps weak enemies get stronger. Because I did read about that. Like this is one of the decks that really amps up your characters that give less damage. So it's kind of like a and may have little willpower. Um, but yeah, right here it says once per turn we can pay 2 ink to reveal the top card of our deck. If it's a character card, we can put it into our hand, but if it's not, in that case, if we get an action card, a location, or a song card, we would have to put it on, put it on the bottom of our deck. We can only put that card in our hand if it's a character card. If we end up drawing a character card, that is gold for us. Um, but as I said, I think we're gonna be doing really well with this deck. So let's tear it open. I am going to, but this would be a really good deck, I would say, for possibly somebody that's played their deck, because Floodborn is another good beginner's deck. Those two decks are good, and then the first two chapter decks that came in the game are really good for beginners. This one would be really good too, but I would say know the cards, know what they. But this would be a good deck for being able to bring up the strength in characters that might have like 3 ink or less. Bringing them like because I will say Pongo is at 3, so if we wanted to summon Pongo, we would have to extract 3 ink. If we wanted to summon Peter Pan, we would have to extract 4 ink. Um, So this is definitely once you get settled in with your for this could even be a first deck if you do your if you do research. It won't be like those decks out there where like you're investing in on wanting to play good characters, which honestly, the more you learn from games like this, the more you'll understand about different decks, what they do, what they hold, what are their benefits. But let's open this up. So I am going to, unfortunately, but unlike Pokemon, Loricana, um, and MetaZoo is the other franchise I'm thinking of that actually, like, each starter deck comes with a fresh booster pack from that set, which is really cool. But let's slide our. But we're gonna try this out. Um, so we're gonna take our deck out very first thing, if we can. I don't plan to keep the box or anything, so we'll have some more damage counters as well. But there's our deck. I'm just gonna take out everything. There we go. We'll pop out these. Here's our booster pack. Rule book. I'm gonna pop these damage counters out. And we'll read the Beatles book as well. We'll get through a couple more chapters. Oh, that's right. This is our like little marker for the lore. So all right, perfect. But I'm actually gonna. But we're gonna look at this deck, see what we think of it. Open up our pamphlet. All right, so right off the bat, so this Pongo card is a super rare. Okay, so I do. So another important thing is the song cards are going to be action cards. So they're a type of action card, but it says that when you put it when you put a character into play and you want to use a song card. So song cards can be used for free, meaning that the character that you put out either has to have or actually has to have so the with with so with the song, the character has to have the same cost of the song or more, but that's how they'll be able to sing that song for free. But you can't do both. Me, because that would count as being able to play two cards one turn. So you won't be able to do that. So what you can do is play that character, wait until your next turn, um, and as I said, play that song. And yeah, so exactly what I said. So characters can't sing songs the same turn they come into play. All right. So yeah, I'm very much excited to play this deck. So let's open this deck up. And so far, this is my third Lorcana starter deck that I've opened. So haven't opened up many of them. Um, well, that's the thing is you really have to like look to see what stores carry Lore Arcana. There's a lot of stores that do. I feel like carry more Lore Arcana than Pokemon cards, but all right. So we're gonna look at all these cards one by one. But let's start off with Pongo. So here's the Pongo card. Now right here, I can see that he will cost 3 ink. Strength-wise, he's got 3, and willpower, he's got 2. So, and he has an ability called Twilight Bark, but it says once per turn, you may pay 2 you may pay 2 ink to reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card, as I said before, so only if it's a character card, you can put it into your hand. Otherwise, if it's not, you put it on the bottom of your deck. This is a really beautiful card too, and the artwork that goes along with these cards. But there's Pongo and the puppies. Aha. So here's Peter Pan. Now, Peter Pan is actually let's see his rarity in this. The bear necessity. So he's a rare. Peter Pan's a rare, and then our Pongo is a super rare. But Peter Pan. So basically, what's really cool about Peter Pan is once per turn, when this character moves to a location, gain 1 lore equal to that location's lore. So here's a good example of what I could do if I had. Or actually, there was a lore card right here. We'll go. Okay, so here's Monotuni Island Paradise. And to look at a location card to really lore value. So move cost. Okay, so yeah, we would pay the ink cost for 2 location, which, and then Peter Pan. So if we had Peter Pan in this location, we summoned him, he would be gaining 5 lore. No, it isn't. Lore value would be 1, I think. Yep. Yeah, you'd be gaining 1 lore. But the thing is, he could still quest. So if you didn't want to attack with him, he's moving to a location. You could quest with him twice and give you 2 lore. So that's another good. I mean, I will say he's one that actually can go from location to location collecting lore equal to that location, which is, or yeah, equivalent to that. So really a good card if you. So Peter Pan's kind of like he gains something every time you move him to a different location, or say if that location is destroyed, but you have enough ink your next turn, Peter Pan would be able to gain, as you know, that lore that is in that location, the same amount. So that could be really good depending on the circumstance with him. Next up, we have the Dalmatian puppy, Tail Wagger. Costs 2 ink. Where did they all come from? You may have up to 99 copies of Dalmatian puppy Tail Wagger in your deck. 99 copies. Damn, that's a lot of puppies. Army of puppies. Next up we have Kita. She costs 1. She's an Atlantean. And not a lot about her. We've got 3 copies of her. Okay, here's a good one. So this is one of the pups. This is Lucky. He's the 15th puppy. Lucky is a really good one. But it says good as new. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put each character card with cost 2 or less into your hand. And put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, so Lucky has 2 abilities. He's got one called Good as New. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put each character card with the cost 2 or less into your hand. So if they have a cost of 2 or 1, you can put them into your hand, but the rest have to be put on the bottom of your deck in any order you would like. And then he's got one called Puppy Love. When Lucky quests, if you have 4 or more other characters in play, your characters get +1 lore this turn. So yeah, that's definitely a big game changer. Next up, we have Nani, the protective sister of Lilo. So she's a bodyguard character. This character can be played exerted, an opposing character who challenges one of your characters must choose one with bodyguard if able. And she can quest for 2 lore, so she would be really good. Patch, the intimidating puppy. Bark, chosen character gets minus what? Chosen character gets -2 until the start of your next turn. Okay, so this is cool. Patch also has a really unique ability, but he so chose so the targeted character that you want Patch. So the chosen character you want to target gets -2 strength until the start of your next turn. Pluto, the determined defender. So yeah, we've got Pluto, determined defender. Shift 5. You may pay 5 ink to play this on top of one of your characters named Pluto. Now, this is really cool. So this Pluto. So instead of having to pay 7 ink for this Pluto, you can pay 5 ink to play this actually on top of our Pluto that we'll show in a second. But he has shift, bodyguard, and an ability called guard dog. Guard dog is at the start of your turn, remove up to 3 damage from this character. So yeah, this is this Pluto. So as I said, if we keep using our Storyborn ally Pluto, we've got. So yeah, if we could play him right at the start, right? Play 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn. Meaning that you would be able to send another Pluto out for free. You may pay 1 because he costs only 1, so that would leave it 0. Next up, we have Rolly. So Rolly is the support. Whenever this character quests, you may add their strength to another chosen character's strength this turn. So actually, we could use it on Pluto. If we still have Pluto, Rolly could give Pluto strength. But we've got one, two, three copies of Rolly, but awesome. Otherwise, we got Tinkerbell, generous fairy. Make a new friend. When you play this character, look at the top four cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Awesome. Wendy. We got Wendy Darling. Wendy would be another good character we could possibly use. But these are all really good characters. Um, Here we go. We've got Cubby, Dawn Carnage, Flotsam. Oh, yes. I do remember this one. This is Helga Sinclair. Now, this is more of like a detonating ability, I call it, but it's called Nothing Personal. But if she is challenged and she loses the fight, loses the challenge, we can actually also banish the character that challenged us. So it's more nobody wins scenario. You said we were in this together. So it's like a betrayal, kinda. Next up, we've got Flotsam. Flotsam, that's right. His brother's in here too. Flotsam Riffraff. Um, Eerie Pair. Your character named Jetsam gets +3 strength. We've got Horace, Jasper, Common Crook, Puppy Napping. So yeah, he's one of the kidnappers in 101 Dalmatians. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. Here's Jetsam. Kit Cloud Kicker, Sky Surfing. When you play this character, you may return chosen opposing character with 2 strength or less to their player's hand. So basically, sky surfing is we can play the when we play Kit Cloud Kicker, we can return any chosen opposing character our opponent controls with 2 strength or less back into their hand. Robin Hood. Oh yes, this is the really good Robin Hood card. This is the one where if you quest with him, he gets 4 lore. Like you can shoot him up with 4, or shoot yourself up to 4 lore. Starkey, the devious pirate. Wildcat. Wildcat's good. He has invasive. So only characters with invasive can challenge. And then he's got disassemble. Banish chosen item. Hypnotize. Each opponent chooses and discards a card, draw a card. Improvise. Improvise. Strike a good match. This is the one. This is one of the cards that was really good. A character with cost 2 or more. So if you play a character with that costs 2 ink or more, can sing this song for free. So yeah, if you have a character, they can sing Strike a Good Match for free. Draw 2 cards, then choose and discard a card. And then we have the Manor. But overall, I'm very much impressed with the deck, especially, and I'll probably be using this deck a lot. Um, but let's open up our booster pack. I actually might keep my deck in this box, or at least since I can make room, that is. But let's open our booster pack from this set. We've got Jafar on the front. All right. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe not. New rule. Moving damage. Parts of a location card. Awesome. All right. We've got Rufus, the orphanage cat. We've got Baboom. Awesome. Which is an action, but let's look at Rufus, because he's interesting. Too old to be chasing mice, but he's a cat, orphanage cat, and he belongs with a sapphire deck, which too old to be chasing mice. When this character is banished, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So, okay, too old. When this character is banished, so when he die, I get it because cats have 9 lives, maybe. Too old to be chasing mice, but it has to do with his age. When this character is banished, defeated, you may put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. Okay. Next up, we have Baboom, which is an action card for a steal that deal 2 damage to chosen character or location. Peter Pan, we've got New Land Hero. It's a common card. Cool. So, Rush, this character can challenge the turn they're played. Actually, this Peter Pan might even be really good to, because if we use Rolly, oh, that would be awesome. I think maybe even a red or a ruby and amber deck would be really cool. Over here, Tink, while you have a character named Tinkerbell in play, this character gets +2 strength. So that'd be another alternative. But if we wanted to have Peter Pan get strength quicker, you can lure for 2. Next up, we have Bestow a Gift. It's a Maleficent card. Move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. Mr. Snoops. Madame Medusa. Chernabog's Followers. Restless Souls. Whenever this character quests, you may banish them to draw a card. Oh, that's cool. So whenever this character quests, like whenever it says, whenever this character quests, you may banish them to draw, so you can sacrifice them to draw a card. Nani, we have her. Starkey, we have him again. We've got Minnie Mouse. Let's see. So this is musical artist Minnie Mouse. This character counts as cost 3 to sing songs. Entourage, whenever you play a character with bodyguard, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. And then we've got Maui's Place of Exile and Robin's Bow. We didn't do bad. Um, Honestly, I think we can make use with that Peter Pan card for sure. Some of these cards will really help us, though, in the long run. But I think overall, guys, the deck, I will say, is really good. It's going to be a big help. But thank you all for watching.